Very quick video from Yes California. We're just responding to things in the news, and we wanted to make sure that you got the accurate information about sensational headlines. We'll cover that in a second. But first, the question for you to consider is, are you ready to Cal exit yet? No, perhaps not. Well, check this out first. Good afternoon. This is going to be a quick informational show. We want to get you the information, the facts that the mainstream media just won't cover. So today, in continuing coverage of the indictment against unidentified co-conspirator 6 and the California-based political organization pushing for secession, that Business Insider's headline seemed to suggest was Yes California, and that we were somehow receiving money and direction from the FSB, which is a total lie. So that's what Business Insider suggested in their headline. That is not what the indictment proved. It is a total lie. We'll get to that in a second. But first, we have an article today. Did Russia provide funding and support for booster of California secession movement by Sam Stanton, August 1st, 2021. That's from the Sacramento Bee. We have a clip in the picture for this video. Here's the quote to pay attention to. Yes, California also posted a video on Twitter denying any ties to Russia, noting that the court papers did not identify the group by name, and playing the video from the Valentine's Day 2018 rally to show it was a small, peaceful event that did not gain entry to the governor's office. So here's a quote from that Sacramento Bee article where they're saying they watched the Yes California video and they recognize that we don't have any ties to Russia, that the court documents did not name us and were not talking about us, and that the famous Valentine's Day protest was actually peaceful. And Sacramento Bee watched that video and said, yeah, they were peaceful and did not gain entry to the governor's office. So we want to say thank you to Sacramento Bee for at least covering these facts. We denied any wrongdoing. They picked that up. Court doesn't identify us, and the protest was peaceful, opposite of what the Business Insider article is posting. And I want to point out this. So the Business Insider article suggested that the movement was receiving funding, but look at this part. Did Russia provide funding and support for booster, not for organization? That's key, because Sacramento Bee is admitting they saw our video. So they saw where we explained this, and they made sure that their headline did not suggest the movement and said for booster. See how that's different? See that for booster part? Here's what the Business Insider article. California secession movement was funded and directed by Russian intelligence agents, U.S. government alleges. That's the headline from Business Insider. Secession movement. Here's the Sacramento Bee article after they watched the video for booster. See the difference? So movement, and now Sacramento Bee says we're not going to cover that headline like you did at Business Insider. We're going to say for booster because we actually saw the Yes California video and they corrected us. Also want to point out that the New York Times covered this, and they too chose not to use the Business Insider headline. So isn't that interesting that Business Insider suggests it this way? The Sacramento Bee, after watching videos from Yes California, directly refutes that headline and says for booster, which was exactly what we said. And the New York Times itself won't back them up. Now, one of the issues, though, is that the Sacramento Bee, while we appreciate them covering that, we also said in the video that we were cleared from 4 investigations, including one by the FPPC. I'm sorry, not PPIC. Let me change that. Oops. So while we appreciate the Sacramento Bee printing the truth that they saw our video, and the court does not mention us at all. This is why they don't do that in the title, and opposite of what Business Insider said. What we were upset was that we know they saw our video because they mentioned it. You know, Yes California also posted a video right there. Yes California also posted a video. So we know they saw our video. But what's interesting is that in that video, we mentioned that Yes California was cleared from investigation by 4 different investigations. And by the FPPC, and the Sacramento Bee did not print that. So the Sacramento Bee watched our video, admitted they watched our video, but somehow refused to mention, even though their sources, and this is publicly available information, that we were cleared by 4 investigations, including the FPPC, which straight up said they're dropping the case because allegations of foreign funding were found to be unsubstantiated. So interesting that the Sacramento Bee could write about us, watch our video, admit they watched our video, and then completely omit the facts about how we were cleared by 4 separate investigations. Why did they do that? I don't know. This backs up our standard statement. This is what we said in the video. This is what we're posting everywhere. So they watched our video, they saw our posts, but somehow they forgot to mention this investigation, and this investigation, and this investigation, and this investigation. It is interesting that no media bothered to interview us or ask us about anything related to this indictment at all. So nobody, including Sacramento Bee, has reached out to us to ask for our commentary and our take at all. People are just writing articles. Business Insider just wrote articles, never talked to us at all, which is very similar to what happened when I personally emailed 35 reporters who had suggested that we received intelligence and direction and funding from Russia. And these were specific reporters who said that. And I emailed them the 4 citations of the 4 cases we were cleared by, and not one of them would respond. So 35 reporters could spread slander and misleading information. When we went to them to ask them to print facts, none of them would do it. Here's the second time where we are being accused of something nefarious. No news organization has reached out to us at all. Not one. Not even Sacramento Bee, not Business Insider. And then Sacramento Bee, while we appreciate the fact that they watched our video, managed to make sure to not mention the 4 investigations, including the FPPC investigation. I guess that's called fair journalism. But it doesn't end there, because this is not the first time Sacramento Bee has done this. So Sacramento Bee has done this before, where they have a damning headline and then a picture of me while not allowing me to respond or asking for an interview. So in April 6, 2020 at 7:28 p.m., I emailed the Sacramento Bee, Gil Duran, saying the Sacramento Bee singled me out in an article, and any chance I could get a little bit more than the average opinion column, given that you put my picture right underneath a horrible, damning headline, and you didn't even bother to talk to me. Here's what Gil Duran, head of the Sacramento Bee editorial board, had to say. This is from Gil Duran on April 6, 2020 at 8:23 p.m. Sacramento Bee editorial board wrote about me to Marcus Ruiz-Evans from Gil Duran. We singled out the stupidity of the Iranians. You were barely mentioned. Submit a letter and or kindly be on your way. So this was the article saying that we were basically backing Iranian terrorists, and then it had a picture of my face underneath it. And then I was not interviewed. I was not asked for comment. And when I asked them, could you interview me or comment? I said, just submit a letter of opinion like everybody else, or kindly be on your way. So they kind of destroyed my reputation with that article, didn't interview, didn't talk to me, treated me in a rude manner, and refused to actually interview me. And that's from Gil Duran on this date by the article where they accused me of being an Iranian spy. So that's what Sacramento Bee did before. And then here we go to Sacramento Bee again, saying or suggesting something that wasn't exactly true or not completely true. So they're getting better. So a couple of years ago, damning headline with my photo, didn't ask me for interviews. That had to do with Iran. Now, damning title, Russian funding, my picture, no interview. So this is Sacramento Bee. They've done it twice on 2 separate occasions, and they rebuffed me when I asked for just fair inclusion in the article. This is the second time they have done that. And again, pointed out, why did they say for booster? How come they didn't follow the Business Insider headline? Why did they say for booster? And why did they say that after they watched our video? Yes, California also posted a video. So Sacramento Bee saw our video and then suddenly made sure to not print the same headline as the Business Insider. And we also know that the New York Times did not print the same headline. And the Sacramento Bee had to admit, court case doesn't actually mention us, which is what we've been saying. So we appreciate them getting some information out. It's nice to be mentioned by the media. It would have been better to actually be interviewed or asked. And it would have been better if anybody could mention the hard and documentable facts that we've been cleared by 4 investigations for years. Because for whatever reason, they just never want to bring up the 2019 Mueller report that said nobody colluded, the Senate Select Intelligence Committee that said nobody consciously colluded, the FPPC investigation that said laundered foreign contributions, allegations disproven, or the May 2020 House Permanent Select Intelligence Committee looking at the years 2015 to 2017 that showed absolutely no evidence of Yes California being involved with Russia in any of the posts made at that time. This is not a fair debate, and this is how they treat us so that they can make sure that we're all horrible, wicked, nasty people. And they will only talk about Lewis. In the SAC BEE article, it's all the stuff that Lewis said. I can't even get interviewed. I barely can get mentioned. But they can talk about Lewis, and they can cover Lewis in depth, but they can't actually talk to any of the people who started the movement and are actually in California. So that's how they do it. Want to make sure you're informed. We'll take a look at the comments. If they're relevant, we'll cover them. If they're not, we will not. Thanks, Daniel. Thanks, Daniel. I appreciate that. Yeah, this is the second time Sacramento Bee did it. They did a little bit better this time and they at least watched our video and at least covered 3/4 of the facts. But they managed to make sure to not include the major point of that video that repeatedly multiple times throughout the video, which is that we were cleared by 4 investigations that directly contradict what they're accusing Lewis of. And that's why they can't name us, because we were cleared. And so they're going after the individual. So it's an old game. All right, stay tuned. Things are going very well for us. The CNN has predicted that midterms are going to go to the Republicans and that the Republican Party is a Trump party, which is exactly what we predicted at Yes California. And that's why we think midterms are going to explode with renewed enthusiasm for CalExit, especially given that Californians and 3 different California newspapers are coming out in support of secession after Roe v. Wade. So we already have Californians terrified of America with Roe v. Wade last month. We already have 3 major newspapers supporting secession. We're going to go into midterms in about a month or 2, and it's going to turn for Republicans, and California is going to be freaked out. So CalExit is coming back big time. And even if you did believe all the garbage about Russia and us, then don't join us. Get out there and start advocating for CalExit on your own. This is your idea. And one of the things the news never says is 32% of people backed CalExit in 2017. 32% of 40 million people. 32% February, January 2017 backed CalExit of 40 million people. It's about 15 million people. They all had their minds incepted by Vladimir Putin. That's just dumb. So this is a California idea. People don't give a crap what Russia thinks. If you don't want to associate with us, that's fine, but back CalExit. And also, we have nothing to do with this, and we were completely cleared, and that's why they won't talk about us, which is exactly what we said first before the media did.